Young woman, where do you think you are coming from by this time of the day? Her father asked, but before she could answer, his hand landed on her cheek, sending her flying to the ground. Once upon a time, in the heart of a village named Amoishi, located in the eastern part of Nigeria, lived Chidima, a young girl of remarkable beauty and grace. Her large expressive eyes sparkled with intelligence and politeness, an attribute contrasting to that of her father. Chidima's life was the definition of contradictions because her mother Amaka and her younger brothers Obinna and Ifeanyi showed her so much love, but Chidima only received coldness like that of her ice block from her father. Chibuzo was a very strict man, his face wearing harsh lines of a life filled with worry and labor. He was respected in the village as an hardworking farmer, but his interaction with his eldest and only daughter were marked by a harshness that baffled many, leaving them with one question: how can a man who seems to be so nice to others be so cold to his own daughter? To Chidinma, her father's love was just a shadow. From a young age, Chidinma noticed her father's favoritism towards her brothers. Obinna and Ifeanyi was allowed to go out and play with their neighbors' children. But when it comes to Chidinma's turn, it was either an interrogating or an errand session. Chidinma, have you done this? Chidinma, have you done that? Chidinma, where are you going to? Chidinma, where are you coming from? So, because of her father's attitude, Chidinma barely had any friends as she was not allowed to play outside the space of her room, and this made her very unhappy. Chidinma often wondered what she had done to earn such disdain, but she never dared to voice out her pain, choosing instead to bury it deep inside her heart. The village of Amoishi was fast developing and growing into worrisome burdens. One of such burdens was the village exploitation of young girls. Many girls in the village of Amoishi had fallen into the trap of early pregnancies, a fate Chibuzo feared for his daughter more than anything. Chidinma, however, was different. She had a natural zeal towards her studies and a fierce determination to rise above the limitation placed on her by her gender. Her dream was to become a pilot, and this scared Chibuzo the more because Chidinma seems to have a big dream, but it is in a wrong environment. So he decided to create a huge wall around her by not letting her walk around freely or even play with the neighbors' children. Despite this, Amaka and mother saw beyond their environment and supported Chidinma by nurturing her and having girls chat with her whenever her husband was not around, as Chibuzo had already forbid her from having a sex talk with his only daughter, fearing it all be the gateway of Chidinma getting spoiled. Despite her father's harshness, Chidinma remained respectful and dutiful. She helped her mother with household chores, took care of her younger brothers and excelled in school. Yet, the more she excelled, the more Chibuzo seemed to resent her. One evening as the family gathered for dinner, Chibuzo's temper raised over a minor issue. He scolded Chidinma harshly for being late, even though she had been helping a neighbor. The village elders often spoke of Chibuzo's strictness, but no one knew the true depth of his fear. You think you can do as you please because you are a girl, right? Chibuzo's voice was a whip of anger. You will not bring shame to this family like the others in this village. Oh. Chidinma's eyes filled with tears, but she hid them back. She knew better than to cry in front of her father. Amaka placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, but Chibuzo's words lingered like a dark cloud in her head. Amaka was Chidinma's pillar of strength. She understood her husband's fear, but she also knew the heart of her daughter. One night after Chibuzo had retired to bed, Amaka sat with Chidinma under the starlight sky. Your father loves you, Chidinma, she said softly. He just does not know how to show it. He fears for you because he sees the world changing and does not know how to protect you from it. Chidinma looked up at the stars, her voice a whisper. Why does he think I am like the others? I have dreams, Mama. I want to be someone. And you will be, Amaka replied firmly. Never let anybody tell you otherwise. You are strong and you have a bright future ahead of you. You are different and you will be someone, my daughter. And Chidinma slept with a smile that night. One fateful day, Chidinma came home late from school. She met her father waiting with rage at the door of their house. Young woman, where do you think you are coming from by this time of the day? Her father asked, but before she could answer, his hand landed on her cheek, sending her flying to the ground. This girl, are you sure I am the one that gave birth to you? Where have you been? Asked her father angrily as he moved closer to her. But fortunately, Amaka, her mother, who had been hearing her husband's voice because he was shouting, came to her rescue. Chidinma handed the letter to her mother, and as Amaka read the content, she felt touched and sorry that Chidinma had to suffer for nothing. Is this why you came back late? Amaka asked, and Chidinma nodded in tears. Mama, is Papa really my father? He did not even wait for an explanation from me before slapping me. Does he really hate me that much? Chidinma asked between tears, as she has been deeply hurt. That evening, Amaka gave the letter to her husband, and Chibuzo reluctantly opened it. He was shocked by the content. Chidinma had just earned a scholarship to attend a prestigious secondary school in the city, and he could not help but feel guilty for how he had treated her. The news of Chidinma's scholarship brought pride to her mother and siblings, but only a grudging acknowledgement from her father. The night before Chidinma was to leave for school, Chibuzo called her to his room. His face as hard as a rock, but his eyes revealed a man weighed down by fears and regrets. Chidinma, he began, his voice softer than she had ever heard. You must understand why I have been hard on you. The world is not kind to young girls. I have seen too many fall, and I cannot bear to see you become one of them. Chidinma felt a surge of emotion. For the first time, she glimpsed the fear behind her father's harshness. I understand, Papa, but you have to trust me. I will not let you down. Chibuzo nodded, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. Go and make us proud, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Chidinma thrived at her new school and had a real taste of freedom for the first time, but the chat with her mother kept her in check. She found friends who shared her ambitions and teachers who encouraged her dreams. Yet, despite her success, a part of her heart remained limited to her father's approval. Back in Amwechi, Chibuzo was working on his farm one day when an hunter chasing an antelope he had missed shot a bullet and it mistakenly hit him in his spinal cord, and he was rushed home paralyzed. The village healers tried all they could, but Chibuzo's health only got worse. As his strength faded away, he spent more time reflecting on his life and the choices he had made about his daughter's life. As Chibuzo lay on his deathbed, he called for his family. Chidinma, who had returned home upon hearing her father's illness, stood by his side, her heart heavy with a mixture of sorrow and unresolved feeling. Chidinma, Chibuzo's voice was weak but filled with a desperate urgency. I am sorry for stealing your childhood moments. I let my fear dictate my actions. and I deprived you of a happy childhood. Please, my daughter, forgive me and help me tell the world that all children are not the same, and the female child should be treated with love and support just like the male child. Tears streamed down Chidima's face as she grasped her father's hand. Papa, I forgive you, she whispered. I always wanted to make you proud. You have, Shibuzo replied, his eyes filled with a mixture of pain and relief. You are a jewel, Chidima. Promise me you will continue to shine, and you will finally be the pilot you've ever wanted, no matter what. I promise, Papa, Chidima said, her voice choking with emotion. With a final breath, Chibuzo closed his eyes, a single tear escaping down his cheek. His last words were a plea for forgiveness. Moral lesson: dear parents and guardians, please show your female children the same love and support you show to your male children, because time waits for no man, and beside, all children are not the same. And to the girl child, I dare you to be different in a world that gives little or no regard for the potential of a girl child. Your dreams are valid, and even your environment cannot stop you if your heart is serious. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you do enjoy this story, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share to others. Till next time, bye.